Donald Trump he was in Iowa today, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and you know that's great friend of the show, Ray Studios' neck of the woods. They were praying for him before he went on stage.
Uh huh. I saw this actually.
Speak this over him, Lord. I pray for protection over him. I pray for protection over his family. And Lord, that all the weapons formed against him will not prosper.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, they will come to nothing. And the traps that have been laid against him, Lord, the people that laid the traps, they will be caught in their own traps. So, Father, we thank you now, Lord, for great favor. And I pray, Lord, that we will get President Trump will trust in you, and not on his understanding, but acknowledge you in all his ways, Lord. And I trust you that you will direct his paths. And Lord, that there is a great victory, not only for this nation, but for the world, because of the calling and the that you placed on this man. So Lord, we say this in agreement right now, and Lord, we thank you that it should be done by our Father in heaven. Amen.
Ray Studios, you were there. Donald
Mm-hmm.
Trump, of course, railed against Joe Biden, calling him a destroyer of the American democracy. What are your thoughts on the day while you were there?
Well, like I told you before we went live, it was one of the best days of my life.
Word.
This rally, well, this event was even better than the first one I went to by a huge bunch. Like I don't even know where to start, man. I don't know where you want me to start because so much happened today. So
Wow.
yeah.
So, how did the day start out? I've never been to a Trump rally, man. We're going to get into it more in a little bit later. I think the greatest strength of Donald Trump is his ability to galvanize Americans across any type of. It's not even about Republican, Democrat. It's not even really about conservatism. There's a word that I don't even know. It's just uniting people who just love their country. So, how did the day start?
Well, I got up very early because I wanted to make sure to get a good spot. Because I got a good spot last time, but I wanted to be sure to get an even better spot. I got a better spot. I didn't get a front row spot because there were people that were already let in. Like they allowed veterans and disabled people get those front spots, which I had no issue whatsoever. No issue whatsoever with that. They let them go in first. I had no issue. But yeah, I got up around 7:40 ish, somewhere around that range, 7 a.m. Well, yeah, and then I got up there, got dressed and all that kind of stuff. Oh, oh, all right there. Oh, okay.
No, I just let Ray know I'm going to highlight him. Nothing wrong. I just want to highlight you.
All right, no problem, brother. But yeah, I got ready and I got a ride over there. I took an Uber over to where his event was going to be. It was at a Kirkwood College, which is a community college here in Cedar Rapids. Yeah, just literally about 20 something minutes away. And I went there. I got in line early. Like there were people there that were I was told there were people there that got there early. They've been there for as early as like 2 days ago before that. Like they were literally camping in their cars pretty much. So that's what they told me. And it was awesome, man. It was really awesome. In the photo and you saw one of the photos I posted when I was waiting in line for everyone to go in. I met someone pretty interesting. I'm you, you, you should bring that photo up, man. That person who I met. If you guys don't know who that person was,
Yep.
I met
Great.
him. I met Roger Stone's nephew when he was there. Yeah. So yeah,
Great picture here. And here we go.
this is Roger Stone's nephew, Alex Stone, and he does his own show too. And me and him talked for a while. We talked about a bunch of stuff. I invited him to come on my podcast sometime, and he said he would love for that to happen. And he said he'd be willing to have me come on his show before. And I actually did ask him the big question too, which pretty obvious question. I didn't ask him it, but I said this. I'd like to meet him, your uncle. And he says maybe someday. But he said was I'm not the guy that you asked to do that though. So yeah, yeah, and
So when did you meet? So you got up, you took the Uber there, you got in line. When did you meet up with that's Alex Stone, right?
yeah, I met him around about maybe within 10 minutes or so, like that.
Wow.
I mean, I went to the front of the line for a little bit because one of a guy who I know, he was there at the rally last rally. He had a heater on and he invited me to come up there, and I was up there for like a good portion of it. I mean, obviously later on, before we were all went in, I went back to my spot clearly. So yeah, because I'm not that kind of person. I'm not gonna cut in front of anybody. I refuse to do that. But yeah, And me and Alex talked, like I said, we talked a bunch, and we actually talked about Charlie Kirk there for a minute too. I'm not sure, and I'm not joking when I say this. Alex told me that Charlie Kirk is a douchebag. So,
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
because of something that happened with his uncle. Like
Okay, they got beef.
what Alex told me was Charlie Kirk invited Roger Stone to appear on Turning Point USA for like 10 minutes or so. Okay, and Roger Stone agreed to it, but then he told me this: Charlie asked Stone to pay him $1,000 for each minute he was speaking there, and Roger was like, "What the f is this?" And there was some back and forth stuff. And then he got up to for 25 minutes where Charlie Kirk wanted Roger Stone to pay him $25,000 to just speak. And here's the thing: Roger didn't ask Charlie Kirk if he can go to Turning Point. Charlie Kirk reached out to him if he would be willing to, and Roger agreed to. And then, what Alex told me, Roger put some stuff out on Twitter talking about the situation. And then, within minutes later, Charlie Kirk got on and and basically uploaded $10,000 to Roger Stone's account to agree to go speak on there. And yeah, so it's shady stuff right there, man. I did not expect that from Charlie Kirk. I could not have at one bit.
Yeah, when you're at Charlie Kirk's level, this is. I mean, you're talking about serious money. I mean, Charlie Kirk, he's out there. I mean, I often make a mistake and even call people like Charlie Kirk politicians when they're obviously not public servants. He's not a public servant, but he's in that realm, and it's a dirty game. It's just a dirty life, dirty game. I mean, even for the people who, because Charlie Kirk. If you don't know, Charlie Kirk has his TP USA Action, and then his TP USA. It's just TP USA, I believe, right? His campus movement. So he's got two things going on. One's a political action committee. Then the other one is just one of the most important movements in the country to get young people from high school and college into a non-establishment track. And he's getting money from some of the richest people on the planet. Yeah. I mean, it's no joke. So I don't know what happened or what anything there, but
yeah.
I mean, but here's my thing: for something like that, these people aren't my friends. I don't really. I'll comment on stuff like Ben Shapiro when he went after Candace Owens publicly, but wouldn't have a public conversation with her. But it's stuff like fundraising and money beef and all that kind of stuff. I kind of like whatever. But yeah, good. I mean, good insight though. You got that straight from Alex Stone.
Yeah. He's gonna try to come on my show sometime in the future. So yeah. Also, I got this actually limited edition pin right here. One of the. It costs around $5-10. I forgot. I didn't have the cash on me, but one of the guys there said he would pay for it for me because I met him at the last rally, and he says I'm such a good guy that he just wanted. He basically said this: "Hey, it's a Christmas present for me from him." So I said, what the heck? Got to. And this
was that the guy you said that you showed us the video that you met? Or no?
The guy with the flag from last time?
Yeah.
The guy with the jersey. Yeah, him.
Wow.
Yeah, but this is a limited edition pin. It's actually the exact date, the date in the city of where this rally was. You guys can't see it well, but you can get the general idea. So yeah. But also, I got this too when I went inside. This I'm keeping all this stuff I got. I'm actually gonna keep this. Actually, I'm gonna store it somewhere. So yeah. Because this stuff is going to be pretty valuable to me. So yeah,
special stuff, man. So
yeah. I also bought this "Keep America Great" Christmas decoration. Well, so yeah. And this was the last one they had too. So yeah, it was $5. So yeah.
Cool. So you got up early, got in line, met up with Alex Stone. Did you even know he was going to be there?
No idea. Yeah. I didn't even know who he was until he told me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Hadn't you chatted with him before though, or online or no? No,
that was a different guy. So,
okay,
yeah,
I keep confusing the young guys.
And also, I'm not joking when I tell you this. I met someone that said they can get me like a trip to Mar-a-Lago. Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's dope. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like yeah, and I talked to her for quite a bit, and she told me she can get me contacts to get a trip to take a trip to Mar-a-Lago. So yeah, and like this is a side thing too, but I was wearing my Cowboys jacket if you saw there, and everyone was just commenting good or bad, negative stuff about it. So all throughout the entire time. So yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of divisive, the Cowboys, but it's divisive in like a playful way, so
yeah.
that's good.
Well,
Yeah,
the reason I wore it was because the Cowboys are America's team. So that's why I wore it to this event.
they really are. I mean, they're like the Yankees of football. I mean, there's people like them, don't like them, but you can't argue they are the squad, especially this year, right? They're the number one. I mean, as far as now, I'm not even saying the best team in the league, but just the most intriguing team in the league. I think is the Cowboys, maybe
Yeah,
the Eagles
yeah,
too, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah,
so good. But so you're there, you're rocking the Cowboy jersey and all that. What
yeah.
happens next?
Well, because here's something interesting. The event was supposed to start. Well, the doors were supposed to open at noon. And it was like 20 something minutes after when they opened. So I don't know what was going on in there. So who knows? Yeah. And when I got in there, this like caucus for Trump thing that I got, there was on pretty much every seat that was in the entire gymnasium. Pretty much every seat there was one there. Yeah. And when I say this, I was actually in the third row. So yeah, like last time I was in the fourth row. This time I was in like the third row, just like a seat or two over. And
Now,
it
how'd
was
you
a
get in the
great
third
row.
row? Was it just because you're there so early, or
Yeah, like
okay?
once I wasn't making the mistake I made last time. Well, even though I just happened to get a good seat last time, I made sure I was getting one this time because the moment I got screened after I got screened by Secret Service, I immediately went in and got to get a seat immediately. I didn't waste any time. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Boring Life has John Fetterman jokes today. The Eagles are better than the Eagles.
Oh
Man, so that's
God.
good, man. I was looking at some of your pictures, and it's just all the pictures from the Trump rally. I just
But,
like to
but
see people.
at
Well,
first
tell
there
me
weren't
about this one.
at first there weren't that many people there, but as time went on, it got packed, man. It got extraordinarily packed. Like that lady right there, that's actually the one that putting up the sign. That's the one that told me she can get me a trip to Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, dope, dope. So
Yeah,
that's how do you know about how many people that venue seats?
there were a bunch of seats down there. Probably had to
Mm,
be like a couple, like 100 or two, but there were
mm-hmm.
thousands, like more hundreds, maybe even thousands of people up on the bleachers. Like it
Yep,
was a gymnasium. Like
yep.
it was smaller than it. Like the venue was smaller than I thought it was gonna be. It was smaller. I will admit that, but it got packed though. It was like the line went around the building, I believe.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a caucus here, right? I mean, is
Hmm.
the Iowa primary considered a caucus? I'm not
Yes.
expert. Yeah.
This
So
this
this is,
this this is yeah. This is for the caucus. Hmm.
yeah. So for I think doing a smaller venue for Trump is smart. I mean, we know he can pack, depending on where he is, he can pack thousands of people into an
Yeah.
arena.
Yeah.
But this Iowa vibe is more of like a small, isn't it? Or you tell
Yeah.
me because you're out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay. You could say it's small, but like Iowa is when I say this, and I truly mean this. Iowa is Trump country. It truly
Mm.
is, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. Yeah.
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 So I think
But
it's not, I don't think that's a bad thing to see Trump in a smaller type of venue. Let me see. I
yeah.
have some
But
clips here. Oh, no, go ahead.
um, like Trump wasn't the only speaker. Matt Whitaker, who was a state representative, he spoke there. He's the bald guy down there. Our Attorney General Brenna Bird, who Barton Bella commented on one of her tweets one time. Yeah, that's her right there in the corner. She spoke as well.
Well, so who's that again?
Our state attorney general Brenna
Oh,
Bird.
okay. Okay. Wait, what was that Barton Bella tweet? Was that the one we looked at? I forgot.
Yeah, where she made some comments about her because she supports Trump. So yeah.
Yeah, but great. See, that's what I like though. Barton Bella is, if you don't know, she's a great friend of the show, and she's a DeSantis supporter. But we're still, cool. I don't like this whole, you're DeSantis and then you're Trump, and then people start doing wild stuff. Man, what is that about?
Yeah.
What.
Yeah.
But I do like Trump because, like I said, he's bringing people together. What's that, Ray?
We can play the video where he came out. Like, I think you really need to play that one because that. You can. I posted it. You can find it.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
Started over.
Yep. Here it is. Here's Ray. This is we got footage from Ray.
This is when Trump came out. Just watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
And he was throwing hats into the stand. Watch this one. I touched that one, actually. I didn't get it, but I touched it. I literally jumped.
Yeah, I mean, Ray, you were right there. My goodness.
It's
a great song.
The entire crowd started singing it. He may have acknowledged me right there. I think that was. He acknowledged. I'll wait till this is done.
You trying to find
next to you. There ain't no doubt I love this land. Just like you were.
And Trump comes out to that song every time. So it's just like special.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wonderful. I'm thrilled to be back with the thousands of proud, hardworking patriots in the heartland of America. As you know, we're just 44 days away from Iowa's first in the nation caucuses. You know I kept you as first in the nation.
44 days away.
Take the credit. We kept you there. On Monday, January 15th, we're going to win the Iowa caucuses, and then we're going to crush Joe Biden next November. We're going to very simply make America great again.
I was excited, man.
Oh, no doubt, man.
I want to thank a very special person, a great woman, actually, Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird.
Yeah!
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. What a job. Great job.
And like I said, I told you this. Well, I posted this. He acknowledged me a few times during the event.
Now, what'd you say? You were shouting out, right? Is that
Yeah,
what you're talking about?
like and I guess what? I didn't film it, but I went back and watched the where they were filming the whole thing, and I got the exact clips of it. I can pull it up right now if you want me to, because
Oh yeah, go on.
I have the exact, like, I gotta pull this up. The exact moment he acknowledged me right here.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pull that up. Boring Life says that all he did
There.
was see George Bush walk the Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah, like there, like he like the first one I'm gonna show you is
Mm.
he is when he pointed at me. Like you'll see this right here. So yeah.
Silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Now that is exactly what's happening to our country. Okay? Exactly. Right?
Yeah, right there. That's when he acknowledged me. That is
Right?
I'll never forget that. Like the moment that happened and I saw it happen, I immediately turned to the woman next to me and I told her, he just acknowledged me. Like I was screaming. So yeah.
That's pretty dope, guys. We got breaking news. Donald Trump acknowledges Ray Studios. He's in the third row, so he's right there, like right in the eyesight. You look like you're in the middle too, pretty much. Were you close to the middle?
Yes.
So that was good.
And also, there was another time he acknowledged me. I literally yelled like that you are the best president, and he didn't turn his head, but what he did was his eyes looked and he smiled, and like I have that clip too right here. It's not. I'm gonna pull it up right here.
Sure.
Like you'll have to listen closely to hear my voice, but I can hear it. Like let me pull this up right here. Right here. Like this, like you got it right here. Okay.
Yep.
You'll see. Listen closely. That's not it right there. You can hear me saying USA. Right there. See? That's it right there. He looked at me when that happened. I saw him look.
Yeah.
Like
Now, what moment was that where he was just doing the faces? Was that spliced or what?
This right here?
Yeah. What was he doing?
This was like when he was just when he was playing that emotional American music. Like
was it
right
the
here.
beginning? Oh, okay.
No, this was towards the end.
Oh, towards the end. Okay.
Like look right here. Like just listen closely. You can actually hear me say president, but what I yelled was you are the best president. I said president louder than anything else. So listen. Right there. See? You can hear.
Yep.
And he looked. And he looked at me when that happened. You can see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, so just a good event. What part of the speech kind of stood out to you? I just saw clips. I didn't see the whole speech.
Oh, the main thing he was just trying to get people to get out for the caucuses. That was his main thing right there. Yeah.
Yep.
And also, he did acknowledge me one other time, which was when he was at the very end where he just got done speaking and then he was clapping, pointing at everybody. What I did was I took my cowboy hat off and raised it up, and he looked at me and said, and just did the thumbs up.
Oh, that's dope.
Yes. So yeah, it was a great day, man. Really great day.
Yeah, good to hear. Yeah, Iowa's coming up. Only 44 days is what we heard Donald Trump say, and I have to look into how that process even works. I don't even remember. It's kind of convoluted, isn't it?
What they did was before the event happened, they had speakers come out explain it, and then after that they had like a video of Laura Trump explaining it, how everything goes.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, a video of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You can pull it up.
It's 6 minutes long if you want to listen. 6.
Well, you can start. We won't do the whole thing, maybe, but I am curious because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay. I have a feeling because I'm listening to the DeSantis supporters and what they're gearing up for is to say, that they're not even gearing up for a win. They're saying that if it's close now, I don't know if you've seen some of them say that.
Yeah, let me find it.
They're trying to say, well, Trump is up by whatever points they're looking at in the poll, which me and Ray don't even mess with polls like that. But that's what the polls are showing. And then I think they're gonna try and say the Iowa caucus is gonna be closer. So even if DeSantis loses,
it's not going to be that close. No, Trump is going to win. No, I'm fully confident in that.
so then that's why I was asking what the process is like. Is it points or is it's like a representative type?
Basically what I'll just click to the best part of this video right here. You
Yeah.
can
Okay.
pull it up
Yeah.
right here.
Just cool.
Pull it up.
Hold on. Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Like this is.
Hey, Iowa. Unfortunately, today, this person will open the meeting to a volunteer will call your caucus meeting to order promptly at 7 p.m. The meeting will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then caucus goers will elect a chairperson to officially run the remainder of the meeting. After a chairperson has been elected, this person will open the meeting to candidate speeches, and each candidate is allowed to be represented by one speaker. Speeches are usually limited to around 3 minutes each. After candidate speeches are finished, volunteers will distribute paper ballots to every voter in that precinct. You will have a moment to complete your ballot and will return it to a volunteer to be counted. What makes the Iowa caucus so special is that the paper ballots are collected and counted in front of all voters in your precinct, ensuring the process is secure and transparent. Not that we think that there was ever a time where voting was not secure and transparent. Wink, wink, nod, nod. After the votes are counted, the results will be announced to all caucus attendees, and that's it. Once caucus goers have cast their vote, they're free to leave. But for those wanting to take the extra step to support President Trump, we urge you to stay and run as delegate to your county Republican convention. We need each and every one of you to take just an hour of your night to support President Trump. Remember to mark your calendars for 7 p.m. on Monday, January 15th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because that's the day we're going to start to take America back. The corrupt Washington establishment doesn't want our movement to succeed. President Trump has, of course, a tremendous lead in the polls, but we cannot leave anything to chance. Your participation in the Iowa caucus on January 15th will send a powerful message to the world that the America First movement is stronger and more united than ever. Together, we will win the Iowa caucus, and together, we will make America great again.
Nice. That was perfect, Ray. But man, you find the clip so well. So that helps me.
They were asking for Trump and a bunch of other people there who were speaking were asking people to sign up for the Iowa to be captains at the caucuses, and that the ones who do, they receive like a specialized hat, and all the print is in gold. Which I actually think I'm probably going to do it too, because I want that hat too. It's specially made. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks awesome, man. Like there was one guy there I think had one. I believe so, at least.
Yep. Whatever it takes to get into the process. The primary, old Jim Bob, friend of the show, just asked, hey, was Iowa the first? Yes, Iowa's the first. I just looked it up real quick. Iowa's on January 15th. Then you're going to have New Hampshire on the 23rd. Then you've got Nevada. But then after that, you're looking at March 5th, which is Super Tuesday. And in the backdrop of all of this are unconstitutional union ending charges against Trump. The trial schedules are crazy. He's going to be I don't know if he's going to have to show up to all this stuff, but he's got a lot of stuff going on, at least at this moment, right? I forgot the dates for his trials early. It's all clearly election interference to interfere with the primary and the whole schedule.
Yeah, and also I didn't meet Brenna Bird, but I spoke to her real quickly though. Like as we were leaving, I saw her right there. I said, "Hello, Mrs. Bird," and then she waved back. Like literally, like it was a few. She was like I was in the aisle and she was in the aisle, the last aisle right there. I said hello, Mrs. Bird, and then she waved hi. So yeah.
Nice, man. So you
If
got
I was,
that.
I thought about trying to get over there or to go say hi and stuff like that, but there was no way I could have. Like there was just so many people there trying to navigate through all that. Yeah, there was just no way.
Yeah. So we're gonna see, what happens right now. What do you think about this? Oh, what were you gonna say?
There was another thing that happened there. If you notice in the state, right there in the stage, like there's like a giant open platform right there, like on the bottom, like you could just walk up right to the gate right there. And like I thought, even though I didn't know this for a fact, I thought there was a possibility he actually might walk up to the gate and actually start signing things because he did 2 rallies today, one earlier in the day and then this one. And like at that other one, he was actually walking through the crowd with Secret Service and he was signing hats for everybody. And so what I was thinking he might do something like that. And here's this, and I'm not joking when I say this. I was actually going to have him sign my Cowboys jacket because the Cowboys are America's team. That would just be something unique. And then the woman next to me, she looked at me and said, "Well, if you get him to sign your jacket, could you get him to sign your shirt too? And then I'll buy the shirt off you." Because I'm not joking. I am not joking when I tell you that. Because it never even occurred to me for him to sign my shirt. It never once did. I just wanted him to sign my jacket, and yeah, I did not even think about that. And I told her I sell the shirts, and I think this one is a little special because this is the first one to me. So I don't think I would give this one up. So yeah,
That'd be nice, man. Because that jacket you have is real nice. Is it leather? That Dallas Cowboy?
It's like what's the word I'm thinking of?
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the word is. It's like a varsity jacket.
One of the varsity jackets, yeah. Yeah, it's a nice jacket.
But the arms on it are leather, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really sharp, you can see it in this picture here, really sharp Dallas Cowboys jacket there. But let me ask you this. Right now there's a lot of calls for people. There's a lot of calls from people like DC Drano and others who are influential Trump supporters for DeSantis and everybody else, Vivek and everybody, to drop out and coalesce around Donald Trump. Do you care about that? Or are you fine with just going through the primary process? What do you think? Would you make that call?
Everyone should drop out and endorse Trump, but we know they're not going to. And Trump even addressed that a little earlier at the rally too. He made a joke that even this some of the people in the establishment they in the DeSantis, they thought maybe have DeSantis drop out and get behind Bird Brain Haley. So and I'm not joking, that's what he said, Bird Brain Haley. So yeah, because they would think that she would have a better chance of beating Trump, but she has no chance. She actually has no chance whatsoever.
Yeah. Old Jim Bob says the charges against Trump are scary. As a foreigner, I hope the justice system isn't being weaponized. I have seen it happen here in Canada. I will get your thoughts on that, Ray, but we're beyond that point. It's completely weaponized at this point. There's no checks and balances. The Supreme Court has not weighed in on any of this at this point. I mean, they can't just jump in. It takes time to get there, but our process is flawed. What do you think, Ray?
Well, before Trump's speech, he had some of the people up there, there were 4 people up there. I forgot who they all were. Well, they said that if it wasn't for President Trump getting 3 Supreme Court justices, because they're the only ones that are holding at least some of what we have of the country left, and if it wasn't for those 3 Supreme Court justices, we wouldn't even be here. Pretty much, really. There's a good chance of that.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine if that? Man, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I said I didn't vote for Trump in 2016, but I retroactively, and I would have to say that that's obviously a mistake because imagine if Hillary had won.
Yeah, and not to be cruel right here, but we almost have to thank Ruth Bader Ginsburg for it too, because she didn't retire during the Obama years.
She could have retired.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I'm
That
not.
was weird. Do you remember why she didn't? That was kind of weird. Maybe is it integrity? I don't know what happened. Why didn't she?
She wanted
There
to
was
stay
pushes.
there. That's from what everything I found out. At least I can find out is that she wanted to stay there. She didn't want to leave apparently. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I said, like in a way, you kind of have to thank her because that's how we got a
Absolutely.
third Supreme Court justice. So, yeah,
Absolutely. Now I'm not total fans of all of them.
like I said,
I mean, but
like
they're better than.
like I disagree with Ruth Bader Ginsburg on a whole lot of things, but I at least respect her though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I don't. There are certain justices that I respect and that I don't respect. Sonia Sotomayor is awful. I have zero respect for her. She has no business being on the bench. She's ill prepared. She's a mess. There's some that, like Alito, who I will agree with at times, and others, but I respect Alito. But the Supreme Court is not going to save us. They're not going to be some saviors. Even Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett. They're not going to really save this thing.
Yeah, but like at least they're like keeping us afloat for the moment.
Agreed. Yep. It could be worse. It could.
Yeah,
I mean,
much worse.
It could be way worse. Yeah. I mean, we have Merrick Garland. It's possible. Now that was messed up. I'm not a Mitch McConnell fan, but we could have had Merrick Garland. That feckless. Woo! That would be. Could you imagine Merrick Garland as a Supreme Court justice? And if Hillary had won too, man, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I almost would like to do like some type of fantasy.
What if?
Like exactly what if, just to see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the world would be better or fine. I don't know, but it feels like we'd be. I mean, am I going too far? Like Ray, I think both of us would be in the gulag somewhere at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how bad I think it would be.
Well, Tim Pool had a great theory that Trump was not supposed to win in 2016, and that's why like we see all these weird changes going on in the world so fast. Like they changed the definition of a vaccine. They took the pandemic this very quickly. They started prosecuting their political opponents. Tim Pool's theory was Hillary was supposed to win, and this was supposed to gradually happen over time. It wasn't supposed to all happen this fast.
Yeah, I agree. Because when the speed is what wakes people up. That's basically what woke me up, is how fast this stuff was happening. You're like, wait, what's going on? The faster that they implement these changes, the more difficult it is to do with a calm, ignorant populace. Mm-hmm. So you got to do it really slow over time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I agree with Tim on that. I mean, that's a great take.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about DeSantis now? Let me give you a tweet from a friend of show, Cassandra McDonald, and
I saw. Are you talking about the Milo clip? Yeah,
well,
I've seen that.
Yeah. I was just gonna do her tweet here at least first, but I want to get your thoughts on this here.
Yeah,
DeSantis was one of my favorite politicians until his campaign launched. And Cassandra and I were, we were chatting about that just in general on Twitter at the time, where we were like, yeah, I like DeSantis a lot. And there were some red flags, but we were overlooking them. And she's like, he was one of my favorite politicians. I've never seen a group of people ruin a politician's career this badly or this quickly. He really messed up when he chose his team. What's your take on that, on DeSantis?
I don't know what else there is to agree on, because it's all 100% true right there. Like DeSantis was going to be the next guy in line no matter what happened, but he squandered that for himself because he thought, hey, what's the analogy? Oh, this is the analogy. Hey, this lasagna was really good, but now I want the cream pie, and now I'm going to take that right here at this time, but the thing was, desserts, it's premature, so it's not going to be as good. It's not going to be as filling. So,
yeah, man, it's tough to see from that. I mean, but I think it's also good that I think we kind of saw this. We're learning DeSantis's true colors though now. I have a lot of problem with his. Did you hear about that where he went and met with Brian Kemp?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's when I first. That's when I really said, "Wait a second, this is about something more." If you don't know, he had reportedly through Axios, he had a secret meeting with Brian Kemp, and Brian Kemp, governor of Georgia, is complicit. And I'm not doing any qualifications. They can sue me or whatever they want to say. He is complicit in rigging the election against Donald Trump and withholding the investigation into that. He's complicit in that, in my opinion. And Ron DeSantis meets with him not to talk about, well, what's going on with Donald Trump being hemmed up by Fulton County in your state. He meets with him to figure out, like, how do they move on from Donald Trump. That means Ron DeSantis is not really against the legal actions being going against Trump right now.
Yeah, and this is why I'm getting sick of Dave Rubin all the time, because he's praising DeSantis like he's the savior of the world, all this kind of stuff. He can dethrone Trump. If the Republicans nominate Trump, they will be morons because DeSantis is the only one who can beat Biden. Like, I'm sick of Dave Rubin, man. I'm completely sick of him. And like, I thought I was sick of Ben Shapiro, but not nearly as much as Dave Rubin when it comes to DeSantis.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, because even Bill Maher, he was talking about it on Bill Maher, and Bill Maher's looking at him like, wait, what do you mean? How is he going to win? There's no path. It doesn't even look like anything. Let's play. I don't know if we'll play the whole clip, but you said you saw it. We were going back to November of last year on one of the best episodes of Timcast of all time with Milo. With Milo on. This is before DeSantis announced.
Yeah, and I still quote this from a lot from this episode too, all the time. I still quote a lot of it.
Ever since that episode came out, we quote Leo like his, the personality of a potted cactus. All these lines from Milo.
The main part I always repeat is that when he says DeSantis is almost as popular in some parts of Florida as Trump is, but if you ask them to choose, they will pick Trump any day.
Let's play it. It's 4 minutes. We might do the whole thing, man. It's just that good, and it's that pertinent to discuss this. Remember, this is before DeSantis even announced.
Trump or Ron DeSantis? That's going to be the big debate here as well.
I don't think anybody is seriously in favor of DeSantis.
One thing though, just one thing.
Yeah. Oh, we'll interrupt it as much as you want.
I agree with you on that.
I'm still disappointed in Luke because I think Luke is still, correct me if I'm wrong, he's still behind DeSantis more than Trump. So he's been like that. So I'm still disappointed in him.
Yeah. Oh. It's I'm very careful to I think Luke is a living legend, so I'm going to be very careful before criticizing him. Let me say this. No, go ahead.
Speaking of Luke, Jen went on his show. We Are Change.
I saw that. I didn't see the episode. I just saw like a clip, and I shared it. I need to go back and watch it. I haven't had a chance. That was dope to see. But they're both in Florida, so that's good. Yeah. But if Jen from Generational Change was on with Clint and Luke just this past week, I think. I was thinking about that too. This clip is not about Luke. Let's just be clear. It's not. This clip has nothing to do with Luke for me. But I was thinking about that earlier today, and I believe Luke is a libertarian, right? I believe he's an ANCAP libertarian. And
something like that.
Yeah. I think he leans that way, at the very least. He's more libertarian, and some of the libertarians don't fully understand what's happening just like I don't fully understand what's happening in the Libertarian Party. I never pretend to be, but I feel very strong that we've got our fingers on the pulse of what's happening with the populist right, MAGA, America First. Yeah. They don't. Luke does not. Tim really does not. That's not a diss. He's just not in tune.
Like, I like Luke. I'm not saying I don't, because I do like him. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't understand why he just can't get on. Like him, he's still more on board with DeSantis than Trump. That I still don't get it, because he's better than that, and he knows he's better than that. But for whatever reason,
now I haven't heard him be too pro DeSantis lately, though. But I haven't been paying that much attention. Is he still pro DeSantis now, or
I don't know for a fact. If anyone in the live
Okay.
chat can let me know, like I think he is, but I don't know for a fact, so I can't comment on it. But
yeah,
still, though,
and but here's the thing. I was talking about DeSantis over Trump, for a little bit, because of the handling of the pandemic. The pandemic was the biggest event of our lives. The government response to it was the biggest event of our lives, and I don't know how Trump supporters try to spin this, but DeSantis was better than Trump. However you want to say about DeSantis.
I got to say something on there. What I said was they both did good and bad things when it came to the pandemic. They both did. That's undeniable. Both of them messed up, and both of them did good things. Let's just get that out of the way.
And it's understandable to mess up. It was chaotic. That was a chaotic time. But let's be fair though, Ray. As far as who did well and messed up on the pandemic, Ron DeSantis was better than Donald Trump. Is that fair to just pretty much objectively say?
That's debatable.
Oh, right. But let's just do this, because from Luke's standpoint, it's not debatable. So that's one of the strong reasons why Luke likes, and Luke lives in Florida, and it's he's I think he lived in New York a while and other places. So you can see how he appreciates DeSantis. Then on top of it, he doesn't understand what Milo's trying to break down here, and neither does Tim. That's why the episode was so good, because it was like it wasn't Milo surrounded by people who already knew what Milo was saying was right. It was Milo almost teaching them in real time, like, this is what this populist thing is about.
Yeah. And immediately after the episode aired, like you, Carlos, Sal, Adam, none of you guys watched the episode, at least at that time. I sent
but that's
it
going to be a topic we're going to be discussing here.
If you're on Meghan McCain's side,
whoops, that was actually go ahead.
What I did was, right after the episode, I sent it to you, the video to you guys, and what I said was, Milo destroyed both Tim and Luke in this entire episode. He destroyed both of them, and yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but I look at it more as an educational thing, because Tim Pool is not. Tim's great, obviously, but Tim doesn't have his pulse on you can't have your pulse on everything. Tim does not have his pulse on MAGA. He doesn't know MAGA. He doesn't know America First. He doesn't know the Nick Fuentes stuff. He doesn't really know the Trump stuff, like at the level that Milo's talking about it. And this helped educate. I think Tim knows more now, and Luke didn't either. So it wasn't really. It wasn't, they tried to have a little debate. It wasn't really a debate. It was more Milo teaching them, is how I looked at it.
And destroying them in the entire argument. So
yeah, because this is just amazing clip here. So we can interrupt it as many times as you want. So just let me know.
Yeah.
But this is an amazing clip here.
seriously in favor of DeSantis unless they're paid to be.
I strongly disagree with you on that, but that's going to be a topic we're going to be discussing here in a little bit.
If you're on Meghan McCain's side, you're on the wrong side.
I don't think I'm on Meghan McCain's side at all. But more importantly here, there is something to say about this performance in the face of economic inflation, lockdowns, crime waves, which seems like it wasn't really affecting the election results. There's also the fact that a lot of Trump-endorsed candidates didn't.
What I want to say on that is that, looking back on it, I don't think here's what I think. People were going to vote the way they did no matter what happened. The vast majority of them were. There may have been some small things that may have changed it, but the vast majority of them were, almost 90+% of them, were going to vote that way no matter what. So
wait, I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I apologize.
Like Luke was saying that many of Trump's endorsed candidates lost, and the ones he didn't endorse won. What I was saying was the vast majority of those people, in my opinion, looking back on it, would have voted that same way no matter what happened. Even if they weren't Trump endorsed, the same thing results would have happened pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Luke, we did full breakdowns after the midterms. Now, keep in mind, this is after the midterms in 2020, last year, in 2022. So there's this aftermath of the red wave didn't come. And we broke that down. I mean, we broke that down, I think, in pretty big detail that that's not what happened was not Trump's fault.
It was going to happen no matter what.
It was going to I think it was going to happen no matter what, and it was a setup from the beginning. They set it up to happen that way, and then now we know all about the Sam Bankman-Fried FTX scam that
Don Bolduc.
Yep, Don Bold.
Where like leftists funded him, intentionally trying because they were trying to like him. Although although I personally would like Don Bolduc, it was pretty clear what the leftists were trying to do. They were trying to prop him up to make him look like he was bigger than what he actually was. So
exactly,
I'm just being fair though. I still like the guy, but I'm just trying to be fair.
Yep. If you don't know, Don Bolduc was running for New Hampshire, right? Senate in New Hampshire. And Ray is absolutely right. It's a brilliant plan. You have to give credit to your enemy. Well, I'm going to say enemies, man. We're in a bad place. I hate to say it, but let's say political enemies. You've got to give credit to your political enemies when they do good strategy and smart, even if it's evil, even if it's unsavory, illegal with the SBF stuff. It's just flat out illegal. They stole money from people in a Ponzi scheme and then funneled it through Ukraine back to the Democrat Party and the corporate Republicans, and they set up the MAGA Republicans on purpose because they wanted to beat the MAGA. See, Ray, you're right. What you said was it didn't matter who was going to win; they were going to beat them anyway, right? Whether it was the Trump one or not. So if you know that's the case, then why wouldn't you have the Trump ones win? Then that's the FBX stuff is not the only thing, but you have the money funneling through FTX, through Ukraine, back to the Democrat Party, and you use that money to beat the Trump supporters. It's almost like the wrap-up smear that Nancy Pelosi was talking about. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And then after it's done, Ron DeSantis blames Trump. That's bullshit. That's not that wasn't. And if you want to blame Trump, fine, but tell the whole story though. You know what I mean? That's the whole story.
Yeah. And also Hike, he said something. He said that it was abortion that was a reason for particularly Michigan. I disagree with that. Like I told you and everyone else before, did it have an effect in some parts of the country? Yes, it did. But like I said, people were going to vote the way they did no matter what. The vast majority of them were going to. There's nothing we could have done to change that. Nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that overall. You know, we have a slight disagreement on, I do think abortion is a stronger single voter issue than you do, but I agree. Ultimately, I agree with you. It wouldn't have changed the results. So that it didn't come down to that.
Let's just say Roe v. Wade was never turned over. I still think the results would have been pretty much the same.
I agree. So then why would I even argue about me thinking abortion's a little bit more important, especially for the midterms, when I agree that it wouldn't have changed the results? But as we listen to this, again, this isn't about dissing Luke, but Luke doesn't know this stuff. He doesn't say, Luke knows a lot of stuff I don't know about. But this stuff that me and Ray and you guys are talking about in the chat, Luke doesn't know this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just, it's just a blind spot is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Lockdowns, crime waves, which seems like it wasn't really affecting the election results. There's also the fact that a lot of Trump-endorsed candidates didn't win. Trump's attacking some of them right now, and the ones that he did,
Trumpian candidates,
and then the ones he attacked won.
There are some examples of that. The problem, I felt a bit icky seeing Trump whine about the consultants. It didn't seem like a kind of alpha dog daddy thing that we're used to from Trump. Seemed a little bit pathetic. And my hope is that he will announce soon and get his mojo back, because at the same time as he's taking these very light touch,
you think he's got his mojo back?
Shots at DeSantis, who has zero.
No, I don't. No, I think he's. I like Trump. Obviously, I'm not against him, but no. If Trump has his mojo, he's debating. He's not running from that. I know everybody's still into the polling and all that. Nah. If Trump has his mojo, he's not. He is debating and wrecking people.
Possible, but like I said, he's going to be the Republican nominee no matter what. So, like I said, I think it should be, if you're running for president, you should be required to be debating. I don't think there should be any ifs, ands, or buts. You should be required no matter what. but you can at least understand what Trump is trying to say. He's so high up that it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, yeah. I understand the strategic part of it, but what do you think? Do you think he has his mojo back? I don't. This is not the 2016 Trump, man. It's just not.
He's definitely not 2020 Trump. Definitely not. He's
What
at
about
least
2016? He's
I'm
definitely
not
not 2016.
He's actually, is he? You think it's possibly he's like a new version of Trump, like a more polished. He's more polished than he was in 2016. So, like, and
Yeah,
in
he's doing.
in 2016 he ran as an independent, just in the Republican Party. In 2020 he ran more as a Republican. So, is he running as a Republican right now? I disagree, but is he fully running as an independent? It's possible, but maybe a different kind of independent, possibly. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he's still the swag. I mean, he's still Trump. Don't get me wrong, but
Signing
he's
the
not.
woman's chest. So yeah,
Yeah, that was dope. I did the segment. I don't know if you joined me on that one, but I did a
I
segment
didn't.
on that.
And
Okay,
handing
that was good.
and handing that's what an alpha does. So
Yep,
yeah,
yep. That was my
So-
take also.
yeah, and handing out pizzas to everybody in the store. So yeah,
Yeah, he's had great moments. You're right. Just when he's in front of people, man, he's just naturally good, man. When he's like at those small venues or the McDonald's. Remember that? That's good. But he's older now. I mean, he's 77 now, and you can see it. You can tell. 2016 was how long? We're well beyond that.
7
now.
years
I mean,
ago.
Yeah, he was 70 back then, and you can tell it's different to me. So I don't think he's got his mojo back.
But here's the thing though. How is he able to do all these events in one day? Like he's literally doing
impressive.
2 events a day. So
It's
at
impressive.
77, like Biden can't even do an event like once a month. He can't do that. Like, and
well,
Trump's
he's
doing
wild.
2 events a day. So yeah.
Oh yeah, he still has some impressive endurance, and he loves doing. I think it looks like he really likes doing the rallies, so he can kind of do those. But I really think I always go back to the debate, but really you don't get the best out of somebody unless you're getting contested. Do you know what I mean? If you need to be, his best moment to me was the CNN town hall debate.
I love that.
Yeah, he destroyed he destroyed it because that's when he was getting contested. And I think if he were on that stage with them going at him, all those people trying to go at him, you would have that lion come out again. And now he's not on Twitter either, which he was in 2016, and it's a different vibe.
Yeah, but my favorite moment from that town hall was, Mr. President, they changed it because to make it stronger so you couldn't do that. Oh, so in other words, they could have done that. So
thank you. Oh, this is my favorite. He just
they could have done it. How did she not see that coming, though? She should have seen
because
that coming.
She's fake. Oh yeah, because she's a empty suit airhead.
You could have seen that coming. You could have. So
yeah, because she's not authentic. I mean, she didn't see it coming because she's just a phony. Like, I have to contest Trump. Now that's the thing we're seeing with these NBC, MSNBC journalists now. It's almost they have to be activists in the moment. Instead of just interviewing Trump, they try to fact check him in real time, and they're always wrong with their fact checks. And then Trump just gets that time to annihilate. That's the closest thing he's been in a debate, and that's probably his best moment. What other? There's other moments where being among the people, but like a policy moment is when you get contested.
Yeah.
0 chance of succeeding.
Agreed.
Look, DeSantis is almost as popular as Trump in some bits of Florida, but don't ask them to choose because he is gone the second they have to choose between him and Trump.
Preach.
Don't get it twisted, okay?
Don't do it,
he has no chance. It is not happening.
But you think even in
I
Miami
disagree.
and Tampa, Trump wasn't able to flip those districts.
You're out of your mind.
I got something to say on that.
Yeah, let's do it. Well,
like when they said that Trump wasn't able to flip Miami and Tampa, but DeSantis was. There's a couple things that happened. One, that was a midterm election, so not nearly as many people were going to get out there and vote. And then 2, so many people moved to Florida in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 that it tipped the balance in the scale for DeSantis. So, would DeSantis still have won if all those people hadn't come to Florida? I believe he would have, but it would have been a much closer margin. It would not have been as wide as it was. Like people still don't consider that. The reason it all happened, the reason there was a huge red wave in Florida compared to other places, so many people moved there. Like Black Pegasus said, that's where all the patriots are. So of course that's what's going to happen.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Tim, again, this is not an area of strength, and it's good. I mean, that he was just saying what he thought, and then gives you Milo a chance to respond to it. But that was the infamous quote there, one of many in this episode.
Somebody with the charisma of a potted cactus can go up against Donald Trump and not end as just another casualty on the list. You're out of your mind. And looking at the rogues gallery of people who are being paid to support DeSantis, I think unless you can provide a compelling case, which today I have not heard, you are being charmingly naive in falling in line with the worst people.
I can give a very compelling case for
people in this country, the worst people in this country who want more than anything.
See, I didn't understand this part from Milo until later, way later, probably kind of recently. What
I
Milo's
understood it
saying
the whole time.
Yeah, I think you were way ahead on this part. See, this part, this is when I was still I liked DeSantis. I would never have thought DeSantis was someone who looked down at Trump supporters at this moment. This is 2012. This is not last November, before DeSantis even announced. I never looked at DeSantis like that. And then after the primary goes along slower, I'm like, you've never even acknowledged Trump supporters. You never. Trump supporters have had your back for quite some time now. You don't even say anything about them. And then you can see I think Ron DeSantis hates Trump supporters and his people.
Yeah. And like what Milo said was Trump has charisma that is once in a generation and it cannot be replicated. That's why people gravitate toward him. And when I say that to online, the DeSantis supporters and leftists will say this. Well, Mustache Man had that kind of charisma, or Jim Jones had that kind of charisma. They always compare Trump to those people like that. And you guys got to be kidding me when you guys keep trying to do that. That's clearly not going to work, man. Trump is not going to get people like what Mustache Man or what Jim Jones did. He's not even going to get anywhere close to that. His charisma, it just gravitates people toward him. So many people. That's why he's loved as much as he is. No one is actually gonna go say, "Hey, I'm gonna take out these people." Oh, hey, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. No, you guys got to be more realistic. You guys got to be more real right here.
Yeah, the bootlickers they don't have no logic. So yeah, Trump does have charisma. It's in a different style than Hitler or Jim Jones or whatever person you want to pick. Stalin, Lenin, they all had charisma. Castro, but that doesn't mean they have the same ideology. It's just stupid.
And the funny thing is,
call it.
And the funny thing is, most of those people are on the left. So.
Yeah, and there are also people who did very positive things in the world who have charisma too. So it's not like they just picked the
Teddy Roosevelt.
People, yeah, I mean, there's tons of people. Reagan was charisma. He was a former actor.
Although
Jackson.
Although I'm not like a Bill Clinton fan, he had charisma.
Sure. Oh my gosh, he was all playing the saxophone on Arsenio Hall or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a ton of. I mean, he was all charisma, basically.
JFK and Nixon both did.
JFK. I mean, you've got to have charisma at that level. There's only a few that don't. That haven't.
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter was, but he was likable though.
No, he wasn't.
You don't think Jimmy Carter was likable?
No. The reason why he got elected was because Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then he kind of became likable as a likable loser in a way afterwards, but religious guy. But I don't mean that to be disrespectful. As a religious guy, and the they got a lot of respect.
Bush Jr. and Sr. were just duds. Like they were just like a hot dog in the mouth.
Yeah. And rest in peace to Rosalind Carter.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these people have charisma in some way. DeSantis is weird in that he doesn't. Even look at George Bush. George Bush actually had charisma.
No,
he did. No, he did.
No, he did not. Not to me, he didn't.
No, in a weird way though. Not in
Al
like
Gore
a
had
Trump
more
way.
charisma.
No, Al Gore. No.
I mean, compared to Bush, he had way more. So yeah,
George W. Bush had charisma as this kind of doofus, hokey dokey. You knew he wasn't very. I don't want to say he wasn't bright, but he just was kind of dense. He was kind of like a guy. He had at that time he had the persona that you would drink a beer with him. You could have a beer with him. Believe it or not. W did. I don't. Not H, but
neither of them did. Neither.
Yeah, and you can. I think that's fair to say. Al Gore, no charisma, and he didn't become president.
No, he didn't have. I'm not saying he had charisma. I'm just saying compared to Bush, he had way more. Compared.
Yeah. I think that was Mitt Romney's problem. He didn't have any type of. And when I say charisma, it's more like Bernie. Do you agree? Bernie Sanders has had at least in his 2016 run hella charisma.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's different, and his was a nutty professor type charisma, like a professor that you like to go to their class, that type of thing, or a nutty scientist.
Like Bill Clinton. I'm not a fan of him, but I.
Oh, your mic went out. Yeah, Ray's going to get his mic back and talk about Bill Clinton. Even though we talk about if fans or not, Bill Clinton carried himself as an alpha with charisma. And he just had personality. And what that means to me for Bill Clinton, it's like he could be off script. Let me try to think if that's a general good thing to say. I think that's part of the charisma. Anybody who has charisma probably needs to be able to.
Yeah.
You back? Oh, your camera went out though.
I don't know how it went out. It didn't go out to me. So.
Oh, is it?
It's still working. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying was, although I'm not a fan of Clinton, I could sit down, have a beer, and watch football with him.
Yeah, and that's the vibe. And I think I'm gonna try to. I'm wondering if I can define charisma in general as being able to go off script. What happens when you go off script? That's the problem with Ron DeSantis, for the most part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mitt Romney's never off script.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem with him.
Yeah.
For the will of the people to be subverted. They want to suffocate Trump and.
So we're bringing this back, and this is about DeSantis. He's talking about DeSantis and DeSantis supporters. I don't think this applies to every single one, but the DeSantis vibe is an anti-populist right and anti-Trump supporter vibe.
Country who want more than anything for the will of the people to be subverted. They want to suffocate Trump and all he stands for, and he is, of course, merely a proxy. He's a shorthand for a variety of things that they hate about Americans. They hate the gaucheness of the South. They hate everything about the South. Yep. They hate Appalachia, with its lack of sophistication. They despise and are contemptuous of the people who love Trump, and they are the architects of their misery. I mean, there's a reason that these places that vote for Trump have drug problems. It's because the coastal elites systematically killed these towns by taking all the manufacturing abroad to weaken the economic clout of Republican places.
Now,
okay, these places were deliberately and systematically sabotaged, and the result of that is like human misery on a scale that nobody really truly comprehends. There's now no reason for many of these towns in the South to exist, and they stagger on with no factories, with no jobs, with no hope. and people lose themselves in godlessness and in drugs and in all manner of self-destructive behaviors. That was done to them. That was done. That was the thing that was done to them. Okay, and Trump is a neat shorthand for the kinds of people that coastal elites consider to be beneath them. And the DeSantis project is about ensuring that Trump was a temporary, unfortunate blip, never to be repeated, because they think they have the right to determine that. They think they have the right to dictate that. I don't think that's going to pan out for them. I think they're going to continue to be humiliated, just as they have been every time they've tried this since.
And that it's been proven out. I mean, why wouldn't DeSantis wait until 2028?
Yeah.
It's because that's his job was to get rid of Trump, basically.
And although I can't prove this, but doesn't it almost make sense that they're intentionally trying to prop DeSantis up so much because they hate Trump and they'd rather deal with DeSantis than deal with Trump?
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's also part of the reason why they were like pushing a lot of people move. It's almost like they were intentionally trying to push people to move to Florida. Like, don't you see, like, so many people move there? Doesn't it almost seem like it was intentional to like make DeSantis look like he got a much bigger victory than he would have otherwise, and that would just bring his stock up more, and like it would just help him with a presidency more better?
I don't know if that was done on purpose, but that was definitely
a factor.
Consequence. I'm trying to think of the right word, but it was definitely like the cause and effect. That's the effect that happened. Old Jim Bob asks, do you think that when Milo refers to the coastal elite, he is speaking about the aristocracy of the left? In that clip, yes, he is, but let's get away from that. In that clip, he's talking about Ron DeSantis. That's the power of that clip. So and I didn't realize that at the time. I never would have thought Ron DeSantis hated Trump supporters at that time. Never in my life would I have thought that. And Milo knew it. Milo knew it at the time. Many others, Bray knew it at the time too. But old Jim Bob, he's talking about DeSantis. In that clip, he's talking about DeSantis and DeSantis supporters. They're the ones that are the coastal elites. Exactly. They hate the South. That's why Ron DeSantis is meeting with Brian Kemp, and he's kind of like in the Glenn Youngkin camp. And all those people hate Trump. They hate Trump supporters.
Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ron DeSantis would be elated if Donald Trump got arrested, got put in jail, and removed from all the ballots. Ron DeSantis would do a dance party. He'd be elated.
But yeah. Did you see what Tucker Carlson said, that if Trump is convicted and sent to jail, he will send the biggest donation campaign that that's allowed, and that he will start many dozens of protests.
Yes, Tucker Carlson talked about that. That was on Roseanne, I believe.
I forgot where, but I heard it.
I think he was on with Roseanne, and he talked about when he decided to kind of support Trump, and that's part of it. Yeah. I think this is the clip here. Let me actually. This is Ron DeSantis on why he supported Donald Trump. This is via him and Roseanne Barr.
I mean, I've always agreed with Trump's policies, always, and I lost friends over it. And I've never really actively supported anybody because it's not my job to actively support people. I watch, I like to watch. But I'm a voyeur.
Yeah.
But I became an active Trump supporter when they raided Mar-a-Lago last summer, the summer of 2022. That can't stand.
No, that can't.
And
that was something.
Agree with Trump on a lot. But even if I disagreed with Trump on a lot, I'd still be a Trump supporter because you cannot allow that. You cannot allow the regime, the president of the United States, to use the Justice Department to knock the front runner out of the race. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that.
So it's bigger than Trump. It's bigger than Biden. It's a question of, do you want to live in a free country with a functioning justice system?
That's exactly
And
right.
so I'm voting for Trump. And if they convict him, I will send him the max donations and I will lead protests. That's how I feel.
That's how I feel.
Because, and by the way, if I thought that he had committed some real crime, I wouldn't feel that way, but he didn't. He and Biden are both found with classified documents at home, along with every other former high-level federal official in history. But only Trump is indicted? Like, tell me how that works. Oh, shut up. Okay.
And Biden is the one who did it illegally because he was never president when he did it.
Do you think Dick Cheney brought home any like classified Iraq War documents? In 2003? Yes is the answer.
That was a little flex there by Tucker Carlson when he said, "I would lead protests." That was a flex. That was kind of like a political, like that was Tucker saying, I can bring people out in these streets. I haven't done it, but watch me.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting development. I've never heard him say that. Yeah. He's a hell of a speaker. He has a lot of support. I fully believe if Tucker Carlson wants to bring people out in the streets, he can bring people out in the streets.
Yeah. Me too. Like me, if Trump is convicted, I will be I'm going out and doing a whole bunch of protesting. A lot of it. I can confirm that.
Yep. Let's go over to this. Jordan Lott has a comment, and Jordan Lott, great friend of show, libertarian, and the Tucker Dave Smith clip. I believe he's talking about the one.
I've always agreed with Trump's policies.
Ben Shapiro replied to. I don't know if you saw that controversy.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's a clip.
Wait, are you talking about the Israel stuff when Tucker was talking about Israel?
No, this one is different. Let me play this here. I think this is the one he's talking about. But if you don't know, Tucker Carlson was on with the libertarian Tupac. He was on with Dave Smith, and look who took a liking to it, and he commented on it and didn't say Dave Smith's name. So see, Ben Shapiro's a little bitch, man. He's just completely bitch made. He didn't say he knows who Dave Smith is. He just said he was on with some comic libertarian. Here's the clip.
Meanwhile, there are people on the right who are simultaneously doing much the same thing. There's like a group on the libertarian right who sound very much like Noam Chomsky on the left, who sound very much like Bernie Sanders on foreign policy. I don't know what to make of that other than they're just wrong. So Tucker Carlson yesterday, he did a show with a comedian, and this comedian, I guess, is a libertarian. And Tucker Carlson was talking with this guy, and this guy started ripping William F. Buckley, and it led to this.
He does not know. There's no way he doesn't know who Dave Smith is.
So
he knows who Michael Malice is. If he knows who Michael Malice is, so how does he not know who Dave Smith is?
And that dude is so bitch made, man. It's just you just see so many red flags with that, and it has not, even without talking about how cringe his takes are, just the way he operates is just straight up bitch made. He has producers. If I forget somebody's name or something like that, I don't really have somebody telling me. There is no excuse for him to be that disrespectful to Dave Smith. That is absolute nothing else but disrespect. And it's really disgusting. And I like Daily Wire, but this dude is just getting on my nerves.
And this guy started ripping into William F. Buckley, and it led to this kind of odd exchange.
Whatever this atrophy in like the intelligence of the American people, I think it's accelerating. I mean, it's look, and again, just like you said, I'll disclaimer as well. I'm talking about people who I don't necessarily like. Like I view Bill Buckley as one of like the great villains of the 20th century. I think he ruined.
I couldn't agree more.
Yes, but he was clearly also CIA, by the way, but he was also a very intelligent guy and witty, and was not speaking down to his audience. And like
again, Tucker's a super talented broadcaster, and I think Tucker's a smart guy. I'm just wondering why. Like, I would love for him to explicate why he thinks Bill Buckley was one of the worst forces of the 20th century. Like, that'd be good to know. I mean, Bill Buckley was the most prominent conservative of the 20th century. Now, Tucker may not like National Review right now. He certainly liked writing for them back in the 90s sometimes, but
So that's the clip there.
Yeah.
Am I off here? But for me, of the 20th century, would it not be Rush Limbaugh?
Rush Limbaugh was by far the best guy. Well, even though you could portray him as a villain, but he was still one of the coolest guys out there.
Yeah. But it's just a weird thing for, like, are we really going to get into argument about William F. Buckley. I mean, what are we doing
Like,
here? But I'm not
like,
a conservative person where I hold
well,
people
me,
up to this conservative value level.
well, like me, I consider myself to be a conservative populist.
Yeah, yeah, and I like how your approach is. Like, we don't put. I don't know. We just don't. Are there people that you put on a mantle because of their conservativeness?
No,
Because
like
we don't. We,
there are actually people on the left, like presidents that I liked. Yeah, you saw my president's list. If you would you mind bringing that up, because there are Democrats that are liberals on that list of my all top 10 favorite top 10 best
we
presidents.
don't.
You can bring that up.
It's almost like Ben Shapiro's a dinosaur of the past, where it's like that was a big thing in those circles in the past, in those neocon type circles, is like who's the real conservative, that type of stuff.
Like Family Guy did a Dick Cheney joke one time that I always love. Like what the joke is that Peter says, "I'll tell you what's not safe: going hunting with Dick Cheney." And then they show a clip of Dick Cheney just shooting Peter. Like Peter says, "So y'all set to go hunt?" And then Dick Cheney just shoots him like multiple times. And then he says, "Sorry, I thought you were a deer." So yeah. You got to go check that out sometime. It's on YouTube somewhere. It's hilarious, man. Yeah. But yeah, like this is what you pulled up. This is my top 10 U.S. presidents of all time. My personal top 10.
Yeah, let's go through. This is a great list of a top 10, and we got onto this topic because that's one of the things I really like about Ray. Ray doesn't look at, I have to prop up only conservatives, whatever that means. Nah, it's more about the position, more about like what was good, what was bad. It doesn't matter what you're conservative or not. But talk about your list here a little bit.
Obviously, George Washington, the founder of America, he was out of all the founders, he was the alpha, the one that kept the country together. So obviously, he's the best one. And Abraham Lincoln, like I know there's people out there that say that they're not huge Lincoln fans. Well, it's because, like, to be fair, they have some points because of how establishment he was in himself. But the fact that he was able to lead America through the Civil War, just that, he has to be up there, man. I'm sorry, I just can't get past that. That was one of the darkest times in American history, and he was able to lead us through it. And yeah, and Thomas Jefferson at 3. Thomas Jefferson was a classic liberal when you look at him. If you look at a lot of his stuff, he was very much a classic liberal, particularly in like his writings and stuff. But then again, a lot of his policies were like conservative, but still, though, he's still in a lot of ways just a classic liberal.
Wait, who was that again?
Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean Thomas. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson. I agree completely. I think very highly of Thomas Jefferson. So I might even have him up higher, but I mean it's more about his whole life, than anything else. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, and obviously I have Trump at 4. Well, Trump, he's a conservative, but he's a conservative populist. Like he does have some. He does have some like he's talked about where he has most of his opinions are conservative, but he has like some things that lean a little more left than other things. So yeah. So he's not just some far right lunatic that the left always portrays him to be. Not even remotely.
Never has been. Never been that. Yeah.
Yeah. And JFK was a Democrat, but he was part of the conservative wing of the Democratic Party. He was very conservative when you really look at him. I have him at number 5. Yeah. Then at number 6, I have probably the second most underrated president in history after Trump, which would be Calvin Coolidge. And most people don't know this, but Calvin Coolidge is the only president in U.S. history to shrink the size of the government, and no one realizes that. No one does. So yeah, you got to look more into him, Osiris.
Yeah, that's one of I think on this list that he's the one that I know the least about.
Yeah, you got to look more into him because they called him Silent Cal because he didn't talk a whole lot, but because he gets criticized because they say, well, he didn't do anything. Well, he didn't do anything. Yeah, he shrunk the size of the government. Of course he didn't do anything. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and then he led into the depression, the Great Depression, so that kind of hurt.
Well, no. He actually left office before the Great Depression started. He only served one term as a president, and the reason why is because his son died, and he didn't want to. And he couldn't deal with the stress. He needed to deal with it. So that's why he left the presidency after his one term. And then Herbert Hoover took over, the one that led us into the Great Depression, and we already know that story about Herbert Hoover. So yeah. Just because I'm from Iowa does not mean I'm a fan of the president from Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have Grover Cleveland on here.
Yep. Like the only president to serve twice non-consecutively. And I'm not sure if you know this, Grover Cleveland has by far the most vetoes in any U.S. president history. By far.
I did not.
It's not even close. By far the most.
I did not know that. Okay.
Like he actually rejected a stimulus package at Texas drought relief, and what he cited was there was no constitutional warrant for it. So yeah. That was I'm a big fan of him. So yeah. Then you got James Madison.
Of integrity. Oh, well,
then you got
James Madison, one of my favorites.
Obviously the father of the Constitution. He the reason he doesn't rank higher is because of the stuff that led into the War of 1812. So like there was some gray area right around there, but still though, he was the father of the Constitution, so he has to be up there really.
Yeah, he was not prepared for the War of 1812, and that's kind of inexcusable, but nobody's perfect. James Madison's career speaks for itself. Key architect of the Constitution and Bill of Rights.
Yeah. And then obviously down there I have Teddy Roosevelt. I'm a
big fan.
I told you, I said this before and I'll say it again. I consider myself to be a mixture of Trump and Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about Teddy Roosevelt was that the trust busting stuff. He was very anti-monopoly. And I'm not and we just talked about Shapiro. Like, the interview Tucker and Shapiro did like a few years ago, like, or something along those lines. And Tucker said that and Tucker was talking about AI and that how he would be like Teddy Roosevelt and with trust busting and like regulate companies using AI to replace workers. And then Ben Shapiro said he'd be totally against that. So, and he said that he's not a Teddy Roosevelt fan whatsoever. So
I would have Teddy Roosevelt higher. I really like. Obviously the national parks and all that.
Well, the reason he doesn't rank higher is because he's the reason we got Woodrow Wilson as the president. So, because remember, William Howard Taft would have beaten Woodrow Wilson if Teddy Roosevelt hadn't run third party. And
yeah, but that's why he's not higher though.
Yes, if Teddy Roosevelt
I guess that's fair.
Teddy Roosevelt is the reason we have the Federal Reserve. Because
I
admitted that. So
man,
I'm sorry,
that's a tough one. No, I hear what you're saying. I've done fairly deep dives into Woodrow Wilson. So, but
don't forget
Teddy Roosevelt's very good, very good. That's what you want from a president is what Teddy Roosevelt was. He was well balanced.
And don't forget, Teddy Roosevelt picked William Howard Taft to be his successor, and then all of a sudden, after Taft's term was coming up, he wanted to come back into power. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that was not good. That was not good.
Yeah,
but
and then you got
I really like Teddy.
Yeah, and then rounded up at number 10 is probably your favorite, I would assume, Andrew Jackson.
One of them. Yeah, I wouldn't have him number one or anything, but he'd probably be a little bit higher than that. The first populist, right? The first populist president. He got rid of one of the banks, I believe, too.
I believe so. Yeah.
Andrew Jackson, very strong against the central banking system.
Yeah, they always bring up the Native American stuff when
I know the Trail of Tears. I know,
but here's the thing, though: his predecessor and his successor were far crueler to the Native Americans than he was. Far crueler, and it's not even close.
Yeah, so, and that's really the only thing that people. I go back and forth with people on Andrew Jackson online. They always bring up the Native American stuff, and I'm like, oh.
Then when it comes to that, you should bring this up to them. He actually adopted a Native American child. If you didn't know that,
I didn't know that.
He adopted one that he ended up adopting one that lost its parents.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Gorn Head, what is this? Old Jim Bob says, if you get the chance, ask Ray to comment on the Gorn Head. What's that?
the lizard mask.
Oh, yeah.
It's part. Old Jim. It's part of my gimmick. The lizard mask. It's part of my gimmick. It's because it's funny.
Yeah, it's great. That's great stuff. But cool, man. That shows you how well rounded your list is.
Yeah.
We did a whole live with me, you, and Carlos on damn near. We did every president, I think.
Not every president, but
Okay.
most of the main ones.
We did most every president. That was a great live, man. We got that in archives somewhere.
It's episode 50 of my podcast.
But Ray, are we in a different place now? Because I think we were more Reagan. I think both of us were more Reagan friendly at that time. And Reagan is not making our top 10 list anymore.
No.
Wow. It's just showing people change over. That was what, a year, 2 years ago? I mean, it wasn't
little
that long
over a
ago.
year ago.
Over a year ago, Reagan goes from, and I was a lot more questioning Reagan, I think, than you were even. But I would have had him in the top 10.
Well,
and he's not even. I don't think he's even close to the top 10 anymore.
Originally, I had Reagan at number 4 and Trump at 5 until Roe v. Wade was turned over, and then after that, I put Trump at number 4 and Reagan at 5, and I just looked more into a lot of other things over the past year, and Reagan went down for me. He's
not where we are anymore. I mean, looking back at his leg, didn't we do the live debunking Reagan? I mean, we did a whole segment on that.
No fault divorce.
Yeah, we did a whole segment on what I forgot what we called it, but it was like debunking Reagan or whatever.
The roast of Reagan.
The roast of Reagan. Yep.
Yeah,
and it's not. I'm not against Ronald Reagan, overall, but he was great charisma, great speaker, but there were some problems there.
But
he's definitely not better than any of these men here.
But Osiris, what would you change about my list if you could?
Teddy Roosevelt. I really like Teddy Roosevelt. I'd put him. I mean, he could be considering number 1. I like George Washington as number 1. Kind of started it all off. Abraham Lincoln, I think, would be lower for me just because of suspending habeas corpus, and that's some. He did some real strong overreach, and where I'm at now, that doesn't fly for me.
That's why I said, there was a lot of other things, like I said. But I just think the fact that he led America through arguably the darkest time in history, I got to give him credit for that. I just got to.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but just think about where I'm at now and how often I talk about secession. And how can I support Abraham Lincoln if I'm talking about secession now? Abraham Lincoln would have me in jail. So he might not make my list, man. He might be completely off my list. He might just be completely off my and I'm not dissing where you're at, but you see what I'm saying, where I can't support that. Teddy Roosevelt would be much higher. James Madison would be higher, even though the 1812 stuff was pretty bad. But just from his career, Thomas Jefferson would be higher.
What about Trump and JFK?
Man, that's a tough one.
They're pretty much the same guy when you really look at it. If you really look
it's kind of funny, isn't it? In a weird way, they are.
They're pretty much the same guy when you really look at it.
Here's my thing. I would have
other than immigration, they're pretty much the same guy, I should say.
I would have Trump very high because of his cultural impact. His cultural impact, man. Donald Trump just lit a spark to the populist movement, man. You can't put money to that. It wouldn't have happened without him. He beat Hillary. And, my channel's called Middle MAGA. It wouldn't even exist without Donald Trump. Donald Trump would be probably where you have him right now. He would be in my top 5.
And
he'd be above JFK. He's above JFK for me.
I think we should add Trump to Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. I believe we should.
I would not. I'm not against that at this point. I'm not against that. I mean, it's going to be difficult just because he's a one term, but that was a rigged election, 2020, and there's a lot to that. But yeah, so I agree.
What about Grover Cleveland?
I'm not as familiar with Grover Cleveland as you. Didn't he release like federal troops to go against a strike during his tenure?
I'm not 100% sure. I've heard rumors about stuff about him, but from most of what I heard, it's pretty much been good stuff, really.
Yeah, so I don't know about Grover. I'd have to look. Grover Cleveland, just from my pure ignorance, and then Coolidge probably wouldn't be on my list, just be straight up ignorance. I'm not too familiar with them. But Andrew Jackson would be higher to me. I like Andrew Jackson a lot.
Yeah, you got to look more into Calvin Coolidge, man. He was a great president. Really great.
Yep. Yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anybody that you don't have that I would have? Like, who would I bring in?
Another one, he misses the cut by a little, would be Ulysses S. Grant.
Yeah, I could see that. I never even thought about that, but yeah, I could see that.
Also, John Adams and John Quincy Adams. I'm fans of both of them.
Yep, I would have John Adams on there. I'm trying to think who else. I think that's about it. I don't know if it'd be hard for me to even get to 10.
Yeah, you should create your own list too.
Yeah, I'll do that sometime.
Yeah,
for sure. But good.
But yeah, but like I said, Trump and JFK are pretty much the same guys. So yeah.
Old Jim Bob asks, why has Reagan fallen out of favor? There's many reasons, but yeah, you could go.
He also asked, why no Eisenhower? I have my own opinions on Eisenhower. Although I can't prove this, I just have very big suspicions. He was I think he may have had something to do with George Patton's death. I think he may have had something to do with it. Because, I'm not sure. Because, George Patton and Eisenhower did not get along whatsoever. They did not like each other. Mainly because after they beat the Nazis, Patton wanted to go and invade Russia because he says that our war is not over because we're going to have to fight the Russians anyway. And why wait when we got the military here right now? Because it was right after Germany fell. And Eisenhower said, no, you're not doing that. So, Patton was he was trying to find a way to to cause something and blame it on the Russians to cause it to happen. So.
Yeah. Eisenhower wouldn't make my list. Just he signed the Civil Rights Act, didn't he?
No, that was LBJ, who was an awful president.
Yeah, he was awful. Eisenhower did the highway system, so that would be I guess a check in his.
Yeah,
he ended the Korean War.
Yeah. Well, technically just a ceasefire. We're still technically at war. So.
Yeah. So maybe I'll look at Eisenhower closer.
Yeah. You should look more closer at Calvin Coolidge, though. You got to do more research into him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because I think if you just like him little government as possible, you will like him a whole lot.
Yeah. So those are that's a great discussion.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jordan Lott says Ron Paul would be the president we never had but should have had. Absolutely. Wait, what do you don't like Ron Paul?
No, I like him. I was I was just thinking That's what I was just thinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ron Paul would have been amazing. Yeah, that's the type of person they don't let be president.
Yeah. The only reason they let Trump be president because they thought he was a joke. They didn't think he was going to win actually. So, yeah. And it backfired on them heavily. So,
yeah. I'm not an FDR fan. I don't think
he was one of the worst presidents we've ever had. The only reason I don't label him as an F is because he was a World War II leader. If it wasn't for that, he would be very, very low.
Yeah, we're talking about the New Deal and some of the most destructive. I did a whole segment on how destructive it was. Turned out to be looking forward.
LBJ.
He's a champion of Biden ran and said he was going to be FDR, didn't he? He's a champion of the left. I'm not a fan of FDR. That's one where me and Jen and Peter would probably strongly disagree on. The left loves FDR.
And also they love LBJ too. Like the extension of the welfare state, his pursuit of the Vietnam War, and how
they would be on my worst. They would be on my worst presidents of all time list. Both of them.
Like JFK got us into Vietnam, but he wanted to get us out of it because I think he was forced into a lot of pressure because, like I said, it's pretty obvious that let's just say had a lot of he in the elite, he had a lot of ties to the elite. So I think a lot of things were going on, and then he just came and realized that it was bull crap and we shouldn't have been involved in it whatsoever.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. I agree completely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But good discussion. Good discussion. Thanks for those comments there. Oh, somebody asked, does the Libertarian Party run somebody for president? Yeah, they're still working on it. There's going to be, I think they call it a primary upcoming. Jordan Lott might know when that's coming.
Yeah.
I don't know if you follow any of the libertarians or anything like
Not
that.
Really.
What do you think?
I don't know anything about that. I don't really follow any of that. So
yeah, because it's tough because there's a perception problem of, is this fair to say, Ray? Like there's a perception problem of they don't have a chance is what it comes down to.
Probably. Yeah. Oh, another president I thought would be a good one that I didn't add right here, James K. Polk.
Don't know much. What would he
was the one that widened the borders into like Oregon, Washington, and California.
Ignorant there. I'd have to look up. I don't even think about Polk a lot.
Like he was the one that recognized the Texas Republic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was a small government.
And he only ran for one term, and he pledged at the very beginning that he was only going to be a one-term president.
That's a good one. I have to look into to articulate, but I do remember, now that you're bringing up kind of the vibe from Polk, but I'm not too much of an expert.
Yeah.
But I do remember, because I kind of looked to see which presidents were more limited government than others. I believe Polk was more of a limited government type of dude.
And also, sometime we got to do a worst president list. Sometime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun, actually. That's a fun one. I mean, Biden is probably number one for me. Well, no, Woodrow Wilson's number one. Biden's up there high, though. Wilson is number one, hands down. Hands down.
As awful as Biden is, it's a little unfair to put him number one because he doesn't know what he's doing. So it's a little unfair.
No, I mean, that's true. I really look at somebody who's consciously doing bad stuff more. But I did a live, if you're interested in the presidential candidates, I did a live where I broke down pretty much the major candidates, Dr. Michael Rechtenwald and others. So
yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be out. We went a little bit longer than I expected, but this was good, man. Now let's look at a couple comments and then we'll be out. Jordan Lott says Libertarian Party convention is in DC in May. Thank you, Jordan Lott, man. What a great resource to have on the channel, man. Appreciate you. Says that the Libertarian Party convention is in DC in May, and we will nominate the nominee by then, I think. But libertarians will have a tough time because of the Kennedy.
Hike. Jefferson was the one who did the Louisiana Purchase. Yeah, that was Jefferson.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kennedy's a well-known name, and you don't even have Comic Dave Smith running for the Libertarians. So you don't really have. I wonder if that played a role in Comic Dave Smith not running. The Kennedy stuff out there.
Possible.
So I wonder if that played a role. But the Libertarian Party is kind of left out there because Comic Dave Smith is the number one dude by far. He's the one talking to Tucker Carlson, RFK, Vivek. He's the guy. I mean, and for him to not run, it just leaves a big vacant opening. Who are you for? Like, if you had to pick Jordan Lott, who would you pick for president? Not Kennedy. Let's talk about like LP candidates. I think we talked about it when I did that live, but I forgot.
I don't know any of their names. I don't even know anything about any of them, so I can't comment on it.
Yeah. And in a way, a lot of them are really similar. Very similar in kind of approach.
Like I remember when in one of the videos and when you were explaining some of the candidates, one of them says like there's a good chance he won't be president whatsoever. Like the fact that you're going and saying that in your ad and that's what he was doing, that shows me like, hey, it's complete nonsense. Like if you're saying that in your ad, people are going to turn away from you already. So
it is a very tough. That's one of the big debates with the Libertarian candidates. Do you come out and say that you don't really have a chance, or do you try to act like you do?
Also, Dr. Shiva's ad too, like basically attacking a bunch of these podcasters too, people like Tim Pool or Joe Rogan. Like attacking them in your ad is just going to drive more people away from you, man. Like, and plus another thing, I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if he's realized this, but a lot of his ads are just way too long. Like it's way too long for my taste, at least. No one's going to sit through an ad that long.
Yeah, that's fair criticism for Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. The person, as far as the LP candidates that I would support, I think Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai should be a libertarian. I think he should be the libertarian candidate. But from the ones that are running, is Josh Smith is the one that I would vote for.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's hard. He doesn't have the profile and everything. But part of that is, man, if you're the LP, you got to get behind him. And I think there's some debate there because Dave Smith supports Dr. Michael Rectenwall, I believe. But whoever wins, I think Dave Smith and everyone's going to coalesce behind them, and they'll get some momentum. But it's tough because Josh Smith doesn't have any presence or anything, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's not his fault. I'm just saying it's just hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jordan, I don't like Chase Oliver. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant on Chase Oliver, but Dr. Michael Rectenwall's his takes are fine. He doesn't have the presidential presence, but none of them do. So, a respectful decision there. But yeah, that's why Jordan Lott's like he's going RFK. RFK has that presidential presence. What's your take? I don't know if I've talked to you, Ray. What's your take on?
We've talked about RFK.
Okay, I forgot. What's your take on?
I think he's just one of these. He's a plant pretty much in a ways. He's trying to take more votes away from Trump, which I'm convinced he's going to take way more votes from Trump than Biden, and it's not even going to be close. Way more votes from Trump. Wow. I think it's an idea to make sure Biden actually wins because they know if you have two anti-establishment candidates on the ballot, they're going to take votes from each other. So they're not taking votes away from establishment people like Biden is. RFK Jr. is just going to take way more votes from Trump, in my opinion. So,
yeah, that's a great. I mean, it's a great take. I didn't have that take, and I don't really view RFK as anti-establishment. But it's not about how I view him. It's how everybody views him. And you're right. If people view him as anti-establishment, it's not about Republican, Democrat. It's going to be anti-establishment votes coming from Trump. And you know what a good gauge on this is? The Dilly Meme team. The Dilly Meme team view RFK as a threat, and they are political savant. I mean, they're political masterminds. So you got to watch what they're doing. They don't like RFK.
Did you see that song that I forget whether it was Mags or Machiavelli memes made about RFK Jr. about how he was snorting cocaine and stuff like that. So yeah, or was it Ramble Rants?
I forget who did that one, but yeah,
it was one of those. It was one of those three that made it. So
yeah. They view him as a threat. They view him as a threat to Trump. So that backs what you're saying, Ray. And I would trust them. They know they have a pulse on what's happening.
And plus, RFK Jr. he literally saying you should go to prison if you deny climate change. So,
that was a while back, but yeah.
I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, I have some problems.
and the fact that he's extremely anti-Second Amendment, like extremely. So,
has he changed on that? I don't know where Jordan Lott. Has he? He hasn't changed his position on the Second Amendment.
No, he has not.
Wow. Yep. So there's problems there, but
he's going to take way more votes from Trump than Biden. I'm sorry, I'm fully convinced of it, and it's not even going to be close.
Wow. So that's a big threat. So I really think Trump has a problem because he's got to bring the DeSantis people on board. He can't overcome all this without the DeSantis people. There's no way.
Yeah.
So right now the divide is really split. So I don't know how you kind of put it back together after the primary.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't think the DeSantis people are voting Trump. I don't see it. I don't see it. They're never Trumpers, basically now.
Yeah.
They're like the new Lincoln Park. The Lincoln. What do they call them? The Lincoln Project people. They're kind of like the new Lincoln Project.
Who do you think Bill Mitchell and Ann Coulter are going to vote for then?
They'll either not vote or vote for Biden.
Wow.
I don't think because the vote's secret. They're not voting Trump. Ann Coulter is not voting for Trump. I don't care if she tells me she is. I don't believe she's voting Trump. And Bill Mitchell neither. I don't think he ever was going to.
Yeah. So
yeah,
who knows?
No chance. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. We're just guessing. Jordan Lott says I like Anthony Hudson. Who's that? Do you know who that is?
I have no idea who that is.
I like Anthony Hudson. He voted for Trump 2 times, but the name recognition isn't there. He is like the blue collar candidate. Let's look up Anthony Hudson before we leave. I'd never heard of him before. Anthony Hudson. Is he a libertarian?
No idea.
Yeah, Anthony Jason Hudson, president. Wow. So I'm looking this up for the first time. I don't even know what he looks like. Where is he? Meet Anthony. Where's his face? Oh, man. Guys got to get your... Okay, there he is. Yeah. He should probably have his face up higher, I think.
No, I'm sorry.
Wait. What's that, Ray?
You can tell this guy is not... This guy literally... It just looks stupid.
No,
I'm sorry.
Don't
it just does. I'm sorry. You can tell just by his website.
No, Ray, don't do that, man.
You can tell. You can just tell by his website the way it's formatted.
Let's give him a chance. We the people, for the people, from the people. I'm good with that. Let's see what we got here. My name is Anthony Hudson. I'm running for president in 2024 as a nonpartisan candidate. It's time that a blue-collar, hard-working small business owner and family man, such as myself, stands up and fights tyranny. So that the generic stuff there. But yeah, sounds all right. I'll look into him. People before politics. I'm all for that. All for that. So we'll see. Yeah. Thank you, Jordan Lott, man. Jordan Lott is so great. Yeah. We need to have you on the show, Jordan. Do you do cameras or you don't even have a camera? You can do a phone number or something like that. We need to get you on the show, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's great. All right. Well, let's go. I'm gonna be out, man.
Yeah.
It's getting late, but great live. Any last things to wrap it up, Ray? Last thoughts?
I would say this: Trump 2024, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm fully behind President Trump, and just hearing him speak in person, he gives a better idea of what his message is. And his message is like America first. I know you have some questions about the Israel stuff, but I'm sorry. He's not Israel first. He is America first.
And I always leave room to be wrong. So that's how we end it. Ray Studios, thanks so much, man, being out there in the event, catching the vibe and the positivity. And we're hoping that we're going to have an American rebound. So if Trump wins and becomes president, I'll be surprised, but I'll be very happy. And we'll see what happens in the future there. But thanks a lot, everybody. Hey, Ray, shout out. Tell everybody how they can reach you, man. You're doing good stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at Ray Studios 29. I also do my podcast on Rumble and all the podcast platforms. I haven't done it in a few weeks, but because in last week or so, I had to go to the ER, so that's why I haven't done a show recently that much. So,
well, we're grateful you're healthy, back at it. You were able to go to the event today, getting footage out there. So, I'd like to you can do even more street stuff if you want. I know you talked about doing it. That I think you'd be great at it.
Yeah, I would just need a full, much better camera because my phone, it can't hold a whole lot. So
yeah. But Adam, you see what Adam feedback he's great.
He has a camera with him. Like it's not like his phone. He has a big camera with someone holding it.
Oh, so does he has somebody with him on his?
Yes. Why do you think why do you think the angle moves all the time?
Yep. So great, but good stuff, Ray. Thanks a lot, man.
Yep.
We're out. Everybody, peace. Thanks a lot.
Peace. America first, guys. Trump 2024.
Yes, sir.